dia 9 de março, por ocasião do lançamento de seu novo livro, Menos que nada, Hegel e a sombra do materialismo dialético, e do seminário Marx, a criação destruidora, ambos promovidos pela editora Boitempo, a Carta Maior entrevistou Slavoj Žižek, que nos falou de assuntos como o governo petista, James Bond, a crise econômica e a América Latina.
2 weeks ago, you gave an interview for a journalist in Porto Alegre, and he asked you about whether there are positive political experience in Latin America. So you said the following: there are many things you can do within the actual order. There are open spaces in which you can do something. Brazil is a good example of what, with intelligent policies, you can do even within the coordinates of global capitalism. So in view of, for example, the last huge tax deduction for the automobile industry by Peti's government and its consequences for the environment, the mobility, the relations between bosses and workers, and the relation with the relation between this Brazilian state and indigenous people. We would like to know to which element of Brazilian experience with PT were you referring to?
First, I am not in any way elevating Brazil into any kind of model. I don't think that anything is happening here which is already the germ, the first forum of something that maybe will become a global model. And I'm well aware of all the limitations that you mentioned. I'm well aware also of how, at everyday level, ideology functions in Brazil. At this elementary level that you project this image, we are all people who dance samba on carnival, rich mixing with poor and so on. But this image of Brazil dancing on the beaches conceals very strong divisions. For example, it's typical that the black minister you had was the singer Minister of Culture. Of course, it's like under communism, I remember, where they always had some women in the government to prove that they are feminists. But it was always education, culture, or health. These soft ministries where there is no real power. No, all I'm saying is that don't underestimate this, that with all the problems you mentioned, nonetheless, you did, I think, for at least large part of ordinary people, a little bit better than those countries who simply follow neoliberal dogma. And this is an important message for the entire world, because often media present us today's world as if there is one big neoliberal model imposed by International Monetary Fund, and then either you follow that or you are out. No, Brazil proved, and this is an important message, that it's not either you follow the, whatever we call it, IMF or another bank dogma, or you are lost. No, the space is open. You know why this is important today? Because, as I like to repeat, I almost have a nostalgia for those old times where it looked as if there is some secret committee of capitalists and imperialists who decide everything. Like when I was young, the myth was somewhere between Wall Street and Washington. Every 2 months, a secret committee of people meets and they decide everything. No. I almost am saying, God help us, it would be nice if there would be such a committee. But what is really happening today more in developed Western world, North, like United States, but especially Western Europe, is that the ruling class is obviously losing its vision, its ability to rule. It's obvious that in Europe they improvise, they don't have even a minimal vision apart from, we must cut the expenses or what, of how to get out of the crisis. Or look the United States. My God, it wasn't some crazy welfare state leftists. It was Bush's radical pro-capitalist politics which exploded in a 2008 crisis. So you see what this means. It's no longer the old rhythm where conservatives like to say, okay, we get the leftist government, they spend too much money, then the right wing had to come back to power to introduce some order. My God, it's almost the opposite. It's the crazy right-wingers who even don't know how to run economy, who ruin it, and you need, okay, I don't idealize. I'm very critical of Barack Obama. But you need then Obama, who is frankly some kind of American social democrat, who has to put in order minimally the economy. So don't underestimate this phenomenon. How lost are those in power, at least in developed West? Which is why they relied so comically on China. I like this motto that they told me in China. 30, 40 years ago, Deng Xiaoping thought only capitalism can save China. Now, capitalists think only China can save capitalism. You know, like everybody in Europe is expecting some magic help from China, credits or whatever. We live in dangerous times.
In the same interview, you were talking about Latin America, and you said here in Latin America you particularly like Evo Morales' policies.
More Linera, because this is among us, another theorist, friends, you know. No, but you know why I like him, I will tell you. Because for Chavez, it was a little bit easy. He had money. He was able not to solve problems, but okay, give them a couple of millions or what. But in Bolivia, they are in a much more difficult position. They cannot cover up problems with money. And I like people like Linera. With Morales, I also like him, but he is, for me, a little bit too much into all this bullshit. Mother Earth, we are killing the Mother Earth, or this pseudo-pre-modern mythology. But what I like is this honesty. They know the situation is difficult. They know they're more or less fighting a lost battle. But nonetheless, heroically, they do whatever can be done. The model of this politics, that's why I really appreciate him, was, for example, Aristide in Haiti. I know people like my friend Peter Holward, who wrote a good book on Haiti. He is personal friend of Aristide, and he told me, no, Aristide was not a stupid utopia. I mean, he knew how against all odds is what he is doing. But he says, nonetheless, let's try to do it, whatever can be done. I don't like people who escape in high theory. You have to try to do it, which is why I like no longer the last before one, James Bond, Quantum of Solace, where James Bond almost became one of us. If you saw it, don't remember what happens. The company which is the bad guys, some pseudo-ecological company which wants to get all the water in Bolivia, they boast, the bad guy boasts, we got rid of that crazy priest who thought workers need more than $1 per day. So the enemies are people who ruined Aristide and now regime, and now they want take over Bolivia. Its name, it's Bolivia. So isn't it nice to have a James Bond film where James Bond saves Morales' government from imperialist company plot? Why not? We should gracefully accept it. Isn't it nice that, like, we all secretly enjoy good Hollywood films, like, you know, we do, let's admit it. But isn't it nice if you can do it without feeling sinful politically, no? That you can say, sorry guys, this guy is saving Morales, I have the right to enjoy it, you know?